Okay, so just finishing where we left off here, we had just added a graph. This graph showed the median, so it was mislabeled mean time, it should be median time for patients. The median of this y values of a data set for time measure. Those y values are just the values of the measurements for how long it, there we go, for how long it takes them to go through the process. So having done that, we can run this and we should be able to see here, there we go, we should be able to see, okay, how long are patients waiting? For how long are they waiting here? Okay? Okay. So what's the median time they're waiting for care? And you notice that in contrast, even though this is very, very high, the time for patients for waiting actually exhibits some fluctuations. Fluctuations over time reflecting the vagaries of who balks and who stays and so on. But broadly, it's between about 3 and 5.5 hours, something like that, or 3.5 and 5.5 hours. Okay, but meanwhile, the utilization is really very adverse. Let's go up to not 10 vets, but let's go up to having a staff of 20, and we'll go see how that affects things. So here we'll have a count of vets of 20. Here we go. And we can run this. And what we will see is we've lowered, thanks to Tunker, the waiting time very significantly to be between about 1.3 and 1.6 hours. And also the utilization of those vets is now right in the area of 3/4. So, there are some times where they are a little bit more heavily used and sometimes less, but it will be variable. Now, we don't have time to go into it because I want to create a hybrid model which links this in, but suffice it to say that we could readily impose a schedule for both on the number of arrivals for different hours of the day on the one hand, and the number of resources available in the form of vets. We could also add additional resources, rooms, diagnostic equipment, vets assistants, or what have you, that could provide additional resources that would constrain things. But for now, I want to actually take this model and I want to actually create a hybrid model. I should note we could also visually represent what's going on, show the doctors or the vets moving around, show the patients moving around, etc. But I'm going to not pursue that here. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to do is to save this file. We're going to save this, and I'll of course distribute this. And this is a simple DES model. And then we're going to save this as simple ABM DES hybrid model. Okay? And the model time units will remain hours. Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to, we should have some good time. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we could do this in a couple of different ways. Right. Okay, so this model is going to build on what we've got here, and it will build on what we've done before this in the form of an infectious disease model. Okay? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to go to patient here, and I'd like to go place a visual representation of a patient. The patient is going to have a person visualization. Okay? So Kurt, we should watch out because this is going to get exciting. Okay? Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Okay, normally I do this in a different order. So I'm just thinking about how to clear things. Great. Okay, excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to do something we've never done before. I'm going to add yet another agent class. And this is going to be called a home with a capital H-O-M-E. Home. We're going to associate each patient with a home, and they're going to present for care in clinics which are nearby them. Okay? And they're going to flow into those clinics and be treated and discharged. Okay? So there's going to be a home representation, and I'd like you to open up home, and I'd like to give it a visual representation. So from the pictures palette, I'd like to take a house and drive it to home. Okay? So we're going to take that house and we're going to put it into home. Are we okay with that? Okay. Good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What I'd like to do is to now go to go to main, and I'd like to okay. Now we've got this thing there. Okay, so this is in main. What's the least bad way to do this? We have two basic options. We could rename main to be clinic. That would be interesting. Or we could copy all these things from clinic into clinic. Okay. Or we could have just one clinic. Let's have multiple clinics. Let's do multiple clinics. Okay. Okay. Kurt, I'm going to need your help here. You ready? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to create a new class called clinic. A new agent type called clinic. Okay? It's going to be called clinic, and I'd like to add a palette item that is going to represent it as a retail store. Okay? For clinic. Are we okay with that? Okay, now, the next action is going to be delicate. So I'm going to ask for your indulgence. Okay? There's going to be a certain delicacy in what we do. Okay. Yes. Okay. This is going to be okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to select these things. Make sure you select this entire area. Okay? Select all of those. So, like this, but make sure you don't select connections or this thing. And now I'd like you to cut. Actually, okay, maybe it's too late. You could also grab these by holding down the control key and pressing click. So, so in short, you can grab these with selection, boom, and then you can hold down control, press this, press button, and then I'll get all of them. The key point is we're going to have to copy all of them over to Clinic. So if you do that, or even if you only get part of them, like for those who are struggling, maybe you want to grab these, and I'll do cut, that's Control X, and then I'll go over to Clinic, and I'll paste in. Boom. Just like that. Okay? So I've just pasted those into Clinic, and now I'm going to go back to main, and I'm going to get these two other things. Or you could do them all at once. And I'm going to go over to Clinic. Boom. There we go. Okay? There we go. So now the Clinic has the logic that was previously in main. And main is bereft of pieces. Are we okay? Are we okay with that? May I suggest that you now, with a measure of trepidation, build. Okay. If anyone encounters errors, Kurt is ready to serve. Okay. Does anyone need help? Krugerian help? He's ready to deploy. Okay? He's a rapid deployment force. Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we excised those from main. So now we can proceed with main with some alacrity. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like you to do is to go put into main a parameter called population size. This is going to be familiar stuff, right? Population size. I'm doing this first for a reason. And population size, what sort of type is it going to be? Can anyone remember? An integer indeed. Okay? Population size. Its default value will be default value will be 1200. Are we okay with that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Next, I would like you to go drag into population, drag into main. We're going to have a population, but hold your horses. Yeah, sure. Ready? You drag in a home population. So this is going to be called homes. We're going to have a population of homes. Are we okay with that? Okay. I know, you're used to thinking populations of animals or people and so on. This is going to be a population of homes. It's going to be a population of agents. Hence we have to select population. Remember that? When we create a population, we have to do population of these things. Do you remember that? Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, its size of that population will be population size divided by 3. That's integer division, incidentally. Because both the numerator and the denominator are integers. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for that? Okay. Okay, so what did I do? Ladies and gentlemen, I first dragged in a parameter. I called it of type int, default value 1200. I then dragged in home into there, made it a population of agents, initial number of agents, population size divided by 3. Are we okay with that? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, now what I'd like to do here is to go for the homes. Let's place them at a specified point here, okay? The X and Y locations for the initial location for homes will be uniform 0, comma. Now, we previously have put 500, but the truth is that that's not fully general. Sometimes you want larger spaces. So I'm going to say between 0 and this dot space width. And this one will be uniform between 0 and space height. So in other words, I'm going to ask, what is the width of the space? And then request a uniform number between 0 and that. I'm going to ask, what's the height of the space? And ask for a uniform number between 0 and that. Does that make sense? So instead of hard coding 500, maybe sometimes I want 1,000. I'll have a big monitor, I want 1,000, or I want extra large space. And I don't have to go back and frog this if that changes. This will automatically accommodate the right size, space, and height. Okay? Okay. Are we ready for this? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like to run the baseline scenario. And this is what you should see. Do you see that? Do you see that? If you run it, you should see something like this. If you don't, Kurt is ready to serve. Good? Good. So are you folks okay with that? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to add a population of people to this model. Now we've done this many times, and it's going to be called patients, okay? And we'll call it population. It's a population of patients, so we drag patients in. And it's a population of them, and population of agents. And what's the size of that population going to be? Can anyone tell me? Population size indeed. Population size. Okay, now, this next little bit will be recommended by a measure of delicacy. Okay? Not in a culinary sense, but in a caretaking sense. Okay. Are we ready? Or you want a little bit more time? Okay? Okay. Okay? So, notice that I added the homes before people. This turns out to be fairly important for this next. Can we go to patient? And I'd like to add to patient a parameter. To wit, home. Okay, Kurt, should I look at something? Okay, so I just went to patient and I added to patient a thing called home. Can anyone guess what type that will be? It is. I'll give you a hint. It's home with a lowercase h. What will its type be? Home with a capital H. Right? Okay, Kurt, what should I go look at? Ed, what should I go look? Okay, the homes, Kurt, are of size, population size divided by 3. It's a population of agents. And critically for the homes, we place the homes at the specified point, this point here. This point here. Okay? And then for the population, Kurt, we have a population of size, population size. Are we okay with this? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're much of the way through the key delicacy. Okay, so I'd like to go to patient, and you'll note we have this parameter home, which is of type home, capital H. Kurt, there's a parameter in patient called home, and it's a capital H home. Okay, now, the following is the crescendo of the delicacy. So watch. You ready? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, for population, I would like to go I'd like to go where it says home, okay? And what I'd like to put in there is a random selection of homes. So homes.random. So it's going to select a random home for the home of the person, okay? So right now we're in the population of people, and I'm saying pick for the home of each successive person, pick a random home from the set of all homes. So for the first person in the population, it's going to pick a random home from the population of homes, and it's going to give that as their home, their parameter. Well, it's going to go on to the next person in the population, going to pick a random home from the set of all homes and give that to the next person in the population. The third person population is going to pick a random home from the set of all homes and give that as the home parameter. Is that okay? Okay. Okay.
What is written Nate? I can't read that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Homes.random. I will put it up on the big screen. There we are. Now, does this need a semicolon after it or not? No, it does not, because it just wants a home. It wants a reference to a home. It says, give me a reference to a home.
It just needs a home. I just want a home so bad.
Okay? Are we okay with that? Okay. Okay.
In Maine, there's only one parameter, population size?
Correct. Yeah. Okay? Are we ready? Okay, now the final bit of the crescendo is upon us. So steel yourselves. Okay. So for the population of people, this agent should be placed at, do you see that? Their location should be self.home.getX and self.home.getY for their Y location.
You take home random.
Let me put that up on the big screen.
Yeah, good.
Here we are. That's the X location for person, and the Y location in turn will be this, and it's placing the agents in the specified point, or at the specified, in the specified point. Are we okay with that?
Just a quick question, self and this, so self is just for the...
Okay, self is only used, so this is a very general thing that's referred to be the current thing that's being executed. Self is only used in certain defined circumstances, and it's because this doesn't apply there. So this, in the current context, this is actually Maine, because this is occurring in Maine, that it's figuring out what the home is for the person, and it's figuring out what its X value is and the Y. And so this is actually here, Maine. Self is just, while we're initializing a person's properties, for example, it's referring to the properties of the person being initialized. And I think in maybe two other cases it's something like that. I think in the discrete event modeling, to refer to the current block of code, you refer to it as self. Like my current block, the C's block, I refer to it as self, because this is actually, well, if it's in Maine, all these blocks are in Maine, it's Maine. So self is used in some very specific circumstances, and it's an any logic thing. I don't know if that helps, but it's used in like here, it's used up here as well if you have dependencies between the parameter values to be given by a person. It's used in setting the X and Y locations, and you'll notice it's indicated there. It says self at the end. Do you see it says self? And it's used in discrete event modeling to refer to the current block and maybe one other place. But it's very defined places within any logic. When when you want a way of referring to like the current person who's being constructed, but actually the context is inside Maine, and so, you know, you can't just say this. Okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, shall we run this model now? What do you see now? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the crescendo of delicacy is completed, but it may not have shaken out in the appropriate way for all of you. Who would like help? Who would like help? I'd be glad to come. I'd be glad to pay a house call or a home call. Okay? Do we see something like this? What do we see? What lies before us? What do we see visually? Yeah, people are associated with the home, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, next I would like to do the following. We're going to add a clinic. Oh, sorry, we already added the clinic in there, and so now we need to add a population of clinics. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go drag in a population of clinics here, okay? And these are going to be called clinics. And this is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, a population of agents. And the number of clinics will be given by a parameter called count clinics. So we need to add a parameter to main called count clinics. Count clinics, okay? What sort of type will it be? It's an integer, it's a count. Count clinics. The number of clinics will be given by the number of, by count clinics, okay? And count clinics, the parameter, which should have a default value of 1. There's 1 clinic initially. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay. Now, I would like for this next little bit to suggest, well, okay. For the clinics, we're going to put in code here that's almost identical to what we did. In fact, it is identical to what we did for homes. So we're going to have clinics appear in the specified point, and it's going to be given by a uniform distribution between 0 and this dot space width. This is the same code we put up there earlier, and uniform between 0 and space height. Does a semicolon have to be used here or not? Space, this thing here, does a semicolon needed? No, it's just determining the x value. It's determining a value. It's not telling you do this. You know, this command. It's just computing a value. So this is for the x, and this is for the y, for the clinic. You've seen that before, right? Not 15 minutes hence. You saw it on yonder screen, and it was computing it was computing the x and y coordinates for home. Okay, are we ready? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's run this. Okay, oops. Okay. So let's run this here. Here we go. Okay, so what is this guy down here? It's a clinic, indeed. Okay. Now, I'm going to do one thing that's going to shake you out of your... I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I should say. It's going to shake you out of complacency, or hopefully not out of sanity. Okay, So let's go to the palette, and let's go to the button, to the controls area of the palette. This is going to be new to you. It's going to shake you out of your sense of what you can do in any logic, I think. We're going to go to the controls area, and we are going to go have a button. We're going to put a button on, so that when you push this button, a clinic will be created. So that button is going to be called Create Clinic Button. Okay. Create Clinic Button. And its label is going to be Create Clinic. There it is. Do you see that? I can zoom in so you can see this better. There's a Create Clinic button. And when you push it, guess what will happen? Look at its properties. Guess what will happen when you push this button? Can anyone guess? Sorry? It'll add a clinic, but where do we describe what we want it to do? By the way.
In action.
In the action. You notice, by the way, this is a case where it says self refers to the button. This button is appearing in main, so this refers to main, but self refers to the button. It's a way to refer to its own button. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, how do we add something to a population? How do we add a person to a population? Remember when we added the baby to the population of the immigrant, what did we say? Add underbar population. Do you remember that? So here we need to do this dot add underbar clinics. And we will just use the default number of vets. Okay? Okay, here we are. Add clinics. Boom. Just like that. Are we okay with that? Okay. Let me see what my disk space is doing. Okay. Pardon me while I just make sure I don't run out of disk. Oh gosh. Okay.
How much is left?
169 megs. Okay. Okay. I've got a couple minutes left. Okay. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go run this, and we can add clinics now with these buttons. We'll add successive clinics in. Now these clinics are reporting some number of people in them, but we're going to change that in just a second. Okay. Let me just monitor my space here. Okay, 165. Okay, our burn rate is not that high. So great. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're a lot of the way done. But we got to change something. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, right. Okay. Okay, it's 3:50. What do we have time to do? We do. Okay, we do. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like you to do is to go and add in. So go up to patient. Okay. We're going to add into patient a state chart. Okay. And the state chart is going to be very simple for now. If we have time later, we'll elaborate it. In patient, we are going to add in a sort of health state chart, and there's going to be a initial state here, which is going to be healthy, and then there's going to be a state which is okay, so that's healthy, excuse me, I'm going to actually call it susceptible, and then another state which is exposed, and another state which is infective. Okay. I'll say, in my case, I'll actually say infective and symptomatic. Symptomatic. Okay. We'll assume sort of an alignment of the incubation period and the latent period. And this will be called, yeah, that's the health state chart. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like you now to set a transition from susceptible exposed. And what sort of transition do you think this will be? Will it be a timeout? It'll be an infection transition. Will it be a timeout, a rate transition, condition, message, or agent arrival? Message, indeed. Okay, next, from exposed to infective and symptomatic, we are going to have we're going to have another transition, which will be so this will be a timeout transition. And next, there's going to be from infective and symptomatic back to healthy. There's going to be a transition as well. But that transition will be care mediated. It will depend on its being treated. So it's treatment mediated recovery. Okay? So infective and symptomatic, it's going to return to this susceptible state. Are we okay with that? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So next, what are we going to need to implement a spread of infection? We've got the basic message to handle receiving an infection, but what do we need to do in order to spread it? Okay, I'm going to stop this recording for now.
Next transition.
Yes, exactly.